Welcome to Know It All, where we bring you the best practices and strategies to optimize your Medicare sales process so you can know it all. I'm Robert Turnbull.
And I'm Kristen Hankinson, and today we want you to
know your geography.
Specifically your healthcare geography. Why? Really knowing the local healthcare geography, and that means where you're selling, where your clients live, will help you not only to close sales, but also to increase your prospect flow.
And really, what does that mean?
Well, that means you have to know who's in and who's out of your provider networks. It's not good enough just to know your clients' doctors, but you have to take a look at the bigger healthcare landscape. Who's in the networks, who doesn't participate, what can you bring to the table?
Yeah, who are the go-to providers? And we're talking about doctors, specialists, pharmacies, dentists.
Right, even the Social Security office. Where is it in the local community? You need to know.
You need to know. So it's really important before you actually go to your appointments to put in the proper prep. You want to have either a printed or a saved copy of a provider directory of the doctors within the client's radius. And you could really just do this on a carrier site by dropping a pin with their zip code, seeing what's around, and actually going in and reading some of the reviews. They're really fun, they're really interesting, and really helpful in finding good docs.
Right. And also, don't forget to use your client's experience. That is just a vault of information for you. Ask them who they go to, collect those anecdotes, what's working, what's not. That will be more than invaluable to you on future sales calls.
Yeah, it's very important to know that the providers, which ones are popular, which ones are unpopular, and it can be really meaningful and build a lot of credibility with your client.
Yeah, and I'll just add, sometimes just knowing the provider exists can build credibility and really get you across that line. You might not need to know everything about the provider, but if you're knowledgeable enough to know, oh yeah, I know that Dr. Smith practices on Main Street. That is really a door opener.
Oh, absolutely. And even knowing maybe a provider is in or out of network with each of the carriers is really going to help save you time, keep you building that relationship with the client quicker.
Yeah, and then we can also talk a little bit about networking here. So we know we're living in a pandemic right now. COVID is everywhere, right? So pop-ins or popping in, stopping by is something that as salespeople we're quite used to doing. What that means today might be different depending on where you live, right, Rob?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Geography is really important. There are places that are in bigger outbreak areas and things like that, where the situation might be entirely different. So depending on where you are geographically can really affect your ability to do this. But there are some other workarounds and things that you could use to elicit the same effect.
Correct, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But by all means, if in your community you can stop by and introduce yourself and do that in a way that is safe, that is an option for you. If not, you always have the phone. You can continue to build your knowledge and be prepared for when this pandemic is over. And then we'll talk about some other options too. All right, so your goals, right? Geography goals. We don't want to take up too much of your time today, but some takeaways for you to kind of know when you're prepping for your sales calls is you got to know the local healthcare landscape. Know the key players. As Rob said, you can save these to your desktop. That way you don't have to, fish all around in your laptop when you're looking for the providers. Or if it's easier for you, print the hard copy and take it with you. Learn from your clients' experiences and, Rob, expanding your knowledge as your footprint expands, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you can keep it local, I know you're probably going to know your own geography. If it's a place you've spent a lot of time in, a place you've grown up in, or a place you've done a lot of business in, it's going to be a lot easier to build that knowledge base to the expert level and then build out from there. Knowing, that maybe consumers in a particular community hate the hospital that's across the river.
Right.
And in Pittsburgh, we have plenty of rivers, and plenty of neighborhoods like that. Where someone won't cross a bridge to go to a hospital, that's fine. Just make sure that you know those so it's a lot quicker, a lot faster for you when you're going through.
Same thing.
Yes. So ask your consumers questions, get their feel for their doctors. And don't be afraid to ask if your consumers actually like their doctors. There's a lot of times.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, people just go to the doctor because it was the doctor that someone introduced them to 20 years ago, and it might not be the best fit for them at this point.
All right, the button up, right?
Yes.
Do not leave your buttons undone, as we like to say.
Yeah, this is your opportunity to get engaged with the doctors. If we can't do a pop by or a stop in, when your client switches a plan, it's a good opportunity to reach out, make a call to that provider, let them know that consumer has made the plan and that they're going to need to get their new insurance cards in the new year, and let them know that you're an asset to their patients, because it builds value to that particular provider and really might help you out get some networking referrals in the future.
Absolutely. This is a secret that not a lot of agents take advantage of. So this is your post-sale in Medicare sales, right? We're dealing with seniors. They're going to their doctor. This is your opportunity as an agent to have that value add to the provider and to your client. So how are you adding value? You're giving that courtesy call to the doctor's office. You don't need to speak with the doctor, right?
No.
The doctor's really not involved. We all know that. So you're talking to the person who's running the office or scheduling the appointments. You're saying, you know what? I just moved Mrs. Smith to a new plan starting January 1. I just wanted to give your office the heads up. They might say, great, they might want to check prescriptions, they might want to advise that they get prescriptions filled, or at least update their own records so they're prepared. And as an agent, you've just made a contact. Your client will be very happy because that's one less hassle for them. And the same goes with the pharmacy that they might be using, or really any other healthcare provider that could be in their life right now.
No, absolutely. You always want to button up all your loose ends.
Correct. So we call it the button up.
Thanks for joining us for Know It All. If you want to see more content like this, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.